From today, every bookmaker, bingo hall and casino in the UK will have to carry out a risk assessment to look at how to better protect gambling addicts.
Yes, the new regulations are meant to help identify potential problem gamblers. Our correspondent Dan Johnson has been looking at one area which is already working hard to tackle the issue.
Some areas have already gone further. In Manchester, this map combines all the risks to show the city's gambling hotspots.
This is Cheetham Hill, where there are plenty of opportunities to win or lose. Bookmakers here, another one on the corner and a third just up the road. And if you need access to quick cash, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pawnbrokers here. Just along here, another betting shop and the amusement arcade too.
The map also shows schools, homeless hostels and drug and alcohol treatment centres, all adding to the risk.
Well, joining us now is Tony Franklin, who's a self-confessed gambling addict. And in our Westminster studio, we have Malcolm George, the Chief Executive of the Association of British Bookmakers. Good morning to you both. Tony, we'll come to you first of all, because I think it's important for you to be given the opportunity to get your story across. I mean, what happened to you? How far back does it go?
Well, my addiction to electronic gambling machines goes back into my childhood. I mean, I started playing in seaside towns on, sort of the low-stake £5 machines. My addiction sort of progressed in severity and really, went from bad to worse. And when the fixed odds betting terminals came in around the turn of the century, so 1999, 2000, and I started losing absolutely phenomenal amounts of money and getting myself into a real financial mess doing that. And
you've brought in some of your receipts here. I can show you. I mean, these are all slips from those machines within the space of 1 hour. So you've got a £500 receipt here, and then £1,000, another £1,000, and then another £1,000 as well. So over the course of all that time, you think you've lost somewhere near £1 million?
I mean, yes. I haven't got a track record of it, but I'm in hundreds of thousands of pounds of debt now, and I've kept repeating this, over the last sort of 20, 30 years. So yeah, it must run into.
OK. Thanks. We'll come back to you in a second, actually. Let's speak to Malcolm George, Chief Executive of the Association of British Bookmakers. I mean, Tony's story, it is quite exceptional in some ways, but when should the alarm bells start ringing in one of your members working in a British bookmaker, when, things like in 1 hour he spent over £3,000, I think it was?
I think the betting shop provides a very safe environment because there is human interaction. Our staff are trained to identify people who may be developing problems, and what we do is intervene, signpost people potentially to charities like GamCare and Gordon Moody, two very effective charities in helping treat problem gambling. But there are a range of techniques we can use. But the first point is our shop staff. They're well trained, they know how to intervene, and they can help an individual who is beginning to exhibit problems with their gambling. OK,
let's pick up those thoughts with Tony, who I could see was shaking his head during your answer. Malcolm. Tony.
Well, I think the first thing to say, in my experience of over sort of 20 years in the betting shops, I have never once been challenged. I have never once been asked, do I have a problem? There has never been an intervention. Never, not once. And, spending sums of money, such as £3,500 over 59 minutes, who has that kind of money?
But you must accept personal responsibility in that. They're not there to look after you in your regard. You're the man who goes in those shops in the first place.
Of course, I take responsibility for trying to get help for my addiction, and that's something that I've been doing, getting counselling. I've gone to GamCare. I have a consultant psychiatrist. I'm on medication. I've self-excluded. I've taken so many steps to try to keep out of the betting shops. And the other thing I want to point out is actually that these machines themselves, I believe, are dangerous. That they have been designed to filter out casual users, and they make their money from addiction.
OK, let's pick up a couple of those points. Malcolm George, so he says he's never once been challenged, and also let's pick up that specific point about these machines as well, designed obviously to make money.
I think the first thing to say is, different techniques will work for different people. Tony mentions self-exclusion, he mentions GamCare, and I have to say I'm really proud it's the industry that funds GamCare and Gordon Moody. The vast majority of the care for problem gamblers is funded by the industry, and that's something we're absolutely committed to do. With regard to the machines, the evidence simply doesn't suggest that they are more problematic than any other form of gambling. 10 years ago, just over 10 years when they were first introduced, gambling problem rates were about 0.5% of the population. The most recent statistics from the Gambling Commission suggest it remains around 0.5% of the population. So the machines have been here for many years, but we haven't seen any change in addiction levels. And what is important is that we focus on the multifaceted nature of problem gambling. Problem gambling can exhibit itself on horse racing, it can exhibit itself in casinos, in bingo, in amusement arcades, and what we need to do is have a range of measures that reflect and identify and assist the unique types of problems people may exhibit.
OK, Malcolm George, thank you, and Tony Franklin. Thanks, Adele, for telling your personal story. Thank you both.
Thank you.